now listening to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast. Today we're going to talk about Arsenal's new faces, our new tactics, and why we look so unstoppable in attack. I've often said that tactics are overstated. When things go wrong, it's tactics. When things go right, it's tactics. But sometimes we have to look at individual qualities. Systems and shape are what gives teams identity, but often it's defined by the players within it, the profiles you've got at your disposal. And Arsenal have added three very new, very different profiles in Eze, Yokarez, and Madueke. The three of them have made our attack look unstoppable and electric and vibrant and everything that we've lacked. At times, we've played too safe. We've worked with the profiles we've got in our team, and a lot of that has been ball defeat players. But another big addition has been Martin Zubimendi. He's a player that plays fast. Everything he does has purpose. Every touch has intent, and he wants the team to move forward. He's not a player that wants to play 50, 60, 70 passes sideways and backwards. He gets the ball and he moves it up the pitch. And Arsenal are already seeing the best of him. 2 goals against Forest got the headlines, but it was his all-round game. He's tenacious, he's aggressive, and everything he does has purpose. But the front three are what's really getting Arsenal playing at the minute. And a big part of that is Noni Madueke. You look at his performance against Forest, he was very unlucky to miss out on the Man of the Match award. He had the most crosses, 14 crosses, most touches in the box, 12, most duels won, 9, most chances created with 5, most take-ons, 4, most tackles, most fouls, 1. You name it, Noni was doing it. And those stats really sum up who he is. Much like I said about Zubimendi, Madueke's tenacious and aggressive, but he's a player that's so powerful, and he's got great carrying, he's got great dribbling, but he's got 1v1 threat, which is his biggest asset. He can go at his man, size them up, and really get that ball into the box. And we've seen things happen from very early on in the game. So 13 minutes in, this was a moment. We got a throw on the left-hand side. Calafiori plays it in. Mosquera straight into Odegaard. Odegaard out to Timber, and Timber gets the ball. And when he gets it, you can see straight out into Madueke, who's out wide on the touchline. And when he receives it, his first thought is, I'm going to run into space. So when he gets it straight away, his man comes to close him down. He's past him, gets that ball out towards the byline and crosses it in. On this occasion, the cross doesn't go anywhere. But what I loved about this move, if you go back to here, Madueke gets the ball and he's sizing up his man. And this move started on the left-hand side. This is because we've played it quick. Everything was one touch fast. In from Calafiori to Mosquera, one touch into Odegaard. Odegaard, one touch to Timber. He carries a couple of touches there, but he gets it out quickly to Madueke, who's in space and is able to take on his man. And you can see where the Forest players are. Because we've moved the ball quickly across the pitch, Madueke's isolated against his man. And this is something that we don't do enough with Saka. When Bukayo Saka comes back, we need to replicate this when he's playing. We need to get it moved across the pitch fast. Because you can see in this picture where the Forest players are. They haven't been able to move across the pitch quickly because we have moved the ball fast. The ball moves faster than anything on the pitch. You can't run, you can't walk, you can't do anything faster than you can move the ball. And that's something that Arsenal did very well against Forest. We moved the ball quickly with purpose and intent. And on this occasion, we've got Madueke in a position where he squared up 1v1 against his man, and he beats him, skips past him, gets to the line, and puts the cross in. It went slightly over Merino's head on this instance, but it was the intent. That intent was there, and that's something that we haven't seen for a long time. How often have we come away saying Arteta restricts his wingers, Arteta does this, Arteta does that, but actually a big part of the issue is decision-making or moving the ball, and that starts at the base of the team and it works its way forward, and every player has to make the right decision. If one player takes 5 touches and slows everything down, that's going to knock on effect the whole way up the pitch. And the same applies to the winger. On this occasion, Madueke squared up his man and he's beat him 1v1 in a duel, and he's gone past him and he's got that ball in and he's thought, right, I know where I want to put this cross. I want this cross going into the box. I want to beat my man and I want to get that ball into the danger area. Too often we've talked about our wingers not beating their man, running down a channel, ending up maybe playing for a corner. On this occasion, Madueke wants to get in behind and he wants to get that ball into the box. And that's the key thing. This was early on in the game and that showed our intent. I've been critical over the last year about how slowly we've started games. On this occasion, we didn't score until half an hour in. But from this move happened a few minutes into the game. 13 minutes into the game, we saw this from Eze. Great piece of play. And David Raya gets it. But right here, Yokarez sees his man. And whenever you're playing, you're taught, deal with the ball. Don't let it bounce. As a defender, on this occasion, the left back lets it bounce. And you can see Yokarez right now. He's in. He's ready to beat him. And he gets himself in front of his man. And he wins the ball back. Gets it. And then he wants it. He gets it back under control onto his left foot. Sees Eze coming in, and he gets that ball across to him quickly. And then when Eze gets the ball, he's in a position where he's got decisions to make. You can see Odegaard's making a run here. You can see Merino's hitting the box. You can see Yokarez is making a beeline towards the box. And you can see that Madueke has got his arm up here, and he's box crashing as well. So in this instance, Arsenal have 4 players attacking the penalty area, all wanting to get on the end of that ball. On this occasion, Eze shoots. He gets it. He looks up. He's confident. We know this is where he can really show his quality and he can cause damage. But he hits a shot. By the time he hits it, Forest have got more settled. But by the time he hits the shot, Arsenal have 4 players in the box, all wanting that cross. And on this occasion, it was the wrong decision by Eze, because you can see the position Merino's taken up. He's managed to get free of his man. Yokarez is attacking. Madueke's at the back post. This was a great opportunity to cross and put the ball in. But I'm not going to criticize him for this, because I love this. I love it when a player gets his head up, has a pop at goal, and that's something, again, that we haven't seen enough of. We know that Eze has the quality to go and score these goals, that he can put it in the top bins from the edge of the box, especially when he's coming into that left half space. I've done breakdown shows on him at Palace, and he can kill teams from that area. This is something that I want to see more of. I want to encourage this. The end product won't always come, but if we try things and we risk, that's when we can create. That's when goals are scored. You don't walk the ball into the net by playing the ball safely. You have to take risks. And one other thing I would say about that, risk leads to you losing the ball when it doesn't come off. What happens when Arsenal lose the ball? We've got one of the best setups behind those front 3. We've got players that are so capable of winning the ball back very fast. And when we are able to counter press, teams aren't set. So that gives Eze, Yokarez, and Madueke, Saka, Havertz, all the other players in our team time and space, because defenders aren't set. When we counter press aggressively, we are one of the top teams at winning the ball with high turnovers. But we've been very poor at turning those high turnovers into shots and goal scoring chances. And we now have the front 3 that are very good at decision making, very direct, very decisive in those areas, and want to get into the box. So by losing the ball more, we can utilize the strengths of our midfield, our defenders, and players like Jury and Timber, who are very good at coming in aggressively and winning that ball, really punchy, snappy tackles, where he gets in ahead of his man and suddenly starts carrying up the pitch. And we saw that multiple times yesterday. But again, it was Eze who was involved. This is another great one. I mentioned Timber coming forward with the ball. Timber gets it out early to Madueke. Madueke back, plays it back, doesn't see the run being on, into Mascara, who moves it quickly out to Calafiori. But what's interesting in this move is, I'm just going to go back here. So you can see Mascara's lined up to play the ball to Calafiori. But look at Eze in this graphic. I've got him circled here because he's standing here. He's in space. He wants that ball earlier. And he's screaming, both arms out, give me the ball. He wants it early. And I've mentioned that Arsenal were playing that ball early. And look at the time on the clock here, 47:59. This is right before we go in for half time. Ball comes out. Calafiori gives it to Eze. He gets it. And much like Madueke on the other side, Eze gets the ball. He's running. Shoulders back, head up. He's looking at his man, faces him up, and he kicks the ball straight past him, gets to the byline here, and you can see Viktor Gyokeres attacking that space. Yokarez is in the box, and he's coming. He's making that movement towards the near post, and Eze knows he's going to be making it. On this occasion, the cross comes in. It's a brilliant cross, but the defender just gets there first. Yokarez still manages to steer the ball towards goal, but it's one of those where you look at the movement of Eze, you look at how good he is 1v1, and again, much like the throw-in that I showed you with the very first movement that led to Madueke's cross, this one started by us going right and then moving the ball quickly from the right-hand side across and getting it to the left and getting it into the box with a cross. That shows that we can really make the pitch big, we can utilize the space, and we can make our attackers play. Another great one was the Yokarez goal. And again, look at the time on the clock here, 45-26. This starts with Calafiori getting the ball, starts moving forward. But what's interesting, and the reason I've just highlighted what time was on the clock in the previous graphic, was because this involves Eze again. I showed Mascara when he was on the ball and how Eze's standing there with both hands raised and both basically screaming for the ball, wanting it earlier. The analysts would have picked up on that at halftime. And whenever they went in at halftime, I have no doubt that they said, look at Eze, look at the space he's getting, get that ball into him quicker, get that ball to Madueke even faster. Let's play that pass that skips out a player. You don't need to play 3 passes when you can play 1. If you can get that ball up quick, you can really kill them. And on this occasion, we had nullified any threat Forest had. In the whole game, the closest they had was when Chris Wood's unconventional effort off his chest hit the bar from a good save from Raya. But beyond that, Forest were completely nullified and we had this game under control. But here you see Calafiori gets the ball, carries it out, and then he sees Eze and he pings that ball, one long ball up the park. A bit like what I was saying. Mascara had that opportunity, but he turned and his body was then set to play the square pass instead of fizzing it diagonally across the pitch. Calafiori doesn't want to do that. We know he's a direct player, gets the ball, and you can see the movement from Eze. And the ball comes across, and you can see Yokarez. He's a marksman. He's that player. He wants to get in between the posts, and he knows exactly where he's going. Arsenal 2-0 up right after half-time, and it's a replication of what I've just mentioned. On the first occasion, Eze had a lot more to do because he got the ball a lot later. But if you look at the ball here, whenever it comes down, so I mentioned Forest in the first half letting the ball bounce. On this occasion, as a defender, you should be taking a couple of steps back and dealing with that ball first time. But Arsenal have clearly picked up that Forest aren't doing that. They're letting the ball bounce. That gives us the opportunity to win it. And on this occasion, the ball comes over his head and Eze lets that ball bounce. And this was just a beautiful cross because what we've seen from Martinelli is he would have taken a touch there. He might have tried to run towards the goal, but 9 times out of 10, he would have taken a touch and gone down the byline onto his weaker foot. Eze doesn't do that. He lets the ball bounce, and as it's coming down again, he hits it first time because he's just completely sized it up. He's weighed up the weight of the pass, and you can see here, look at Yokarez, look where he is, and Eze's ball is perfect, but he knows that Yokarez is going to be attacking that space. And this is a couple of players. This is their first start together. Imagine what they're going to be like in 2 months whenever they've been playing together, week in, week out. Because Eze's not a traditional winger either. So this for him, these skills that we saw yesterday, these are things that he doesn't typically do. Because at Palace, he was coming into the half space. He was coming into central areas. But yesterday, he was giving his man the run around, dropping his shoulder, popping it past him the other way. We saw that a couple of times, spinning past his man down the byline and getting that end ball in. But on this occasion, that ball came in so fast that it just meant that Yokarez couldn't not score. And this is a dream for a striker like him. This is what he lives for. This is his bread and butter. And he gets that ball, puts it in the back of the net, and it completely killed the game. Because at that moment, we were at a point where we were looking really good. We were looking strong, but we weren't putting the ball in the back of the net. And that came just after Zubimendi's goal. But another instance, this is a great chance. And this one, again, it started at the back. And I've mentioned how we were making the full pitch big, but we were doing things fast. On this occasion, Mascara gets the ball, takes it out from Raya, comes in. Ethan Nwaneri's coming deep. And Ethan Nwaneri was a big, big part of our play yesterday. He was absolutely brilliant. And this move literally covered the whole pitch. And this is why I'm highlighting it. So you look at it here. Mascara gets the ball into Nwaneri, gives it first time out to Jurriën Timber. And then what I love, he keeps running. He keeps moving into space. He gets the ball, takes it on the half turn, on the back foot. He literally let it run past him, opened his body. Very kind of Thomas Partey, the way we used to see him do. And then he gets it out to Madueke, but Madueke loses it. What he does, straight back up, wins the ball back, looks for an Arsenal teammate, plays it to Zubimendi. And what you can see here, Zubimendi gets it, plays it to Gabriel, who gives it straight in first time to Merino. That gives him the opportunity to play it back to Calafiori, and Calafiori down the line into Eze. You can see lovely little flick around the corner, and Merino's in. But I mentioned Nwaneri's movement. Much like Nwaneri's movement, when Merino got the ball, he played the pass. He gives it to Calafiori here. Calafiori has it, and you can see Merino has started to move into space in the next frame. Here he is now. He's moved across the pitch, and whenever it goes into Eze, you can see Merino's already on his bike. He's going for up the pitch, and this is the tactical change that I talked about. So Arteta is clearly telling the players to move. Football is a game of movement. If you don't move, the pass isn't there. If you're not there to receive, if you're not moving, your teammate doesn't have that next pass. And if your teammate isn't moving, it means that you do play ball to feet. It's all about movement. You can't play fast, exciting football that really tears teams apart and moves defenders into areas that they don't want to go unless you move effectively. And here's Merino. He follows up, but again, look at the players forward. And again, this is a tactical tweak, and this is why I'm highlighting it. On this occasion, you can see Yokarez is making a run towards the near post, like I've already highlighted twice. Ethan Nwaneri is attacking the kind of edge of the box at the D, coming towards the penalty spot. And again, you can see Madueke. So on this occasion, 3 Arsenal players attacking the box. I talked already about Madueke, hand up, approaching the back post, coming in and really trying to box crash. On this occasion, it's no different. He's looking for it. He's backing himself. And if that cross comes in, he will be there to attack it. But on this occasion, Merino plays it to Ethan Nwaneri, which I thought was absolutely the right pass. And Nwaneri comes running in. To be honest, if he was really aware and really confident, he could have backheeled that pass or played a sideways pass into Madueke, who would have been in a superb position. But again, I want to see Ethan shoot from there. He's got the quality. We know he can wrap his foot around the ball. And if anyone in our team was getting that opportunity, I would probably have the most confidence in him or maybe Odegaard scoring from here. We've seen Odegaard do it many times, but this is an example of tactics and moving fast, moving the ball up the pitch quickly. Because if you're not moving the ball and you're not running with it, you're not going to be able to kill teams. And this, again, is an example of using the pitch, going right, left, and going the whole way across and getting that ball into dangerous areas. And when you look at this instance, again, we see it. This is the same one, actually. But on this occasion, we see Gabriel gets the ball, who was absolutely brilliant. This starts with a Forest attack. So the reason I'm highlighting this is because the Forest attack is a prime example of how we can win the ball back and move the ball up the park quickly. This is how you get the best out of Viktor Gyokeres, Noni Madueke, and Eberechi Eze. You play situations that lead to transitions. On this occasion, you can see Forest go forward. This is Ndai here. Gabriel gets him, tracks him into the box, just shoulders him off the ball, gets it, and he looks up. Straight away, gets that ball into Merino, who was absolutely brilliant yesterday and was one of the players that was moving the ball very, very fast, just like Ethan Nwaneri. With Merino and Nwaneri together, I felt that Merino was the steady head, but someone that was moving the ball very fast and played a game that suited him more. But he also was given that experience to Ethan Nwaneri, and Zubimendi was offering a rotational option where when Nwaneri came deep, Zubimendi went ahead of him, giving him that pass. Jurriën Timber played a big part in what Ethan Nwaneri's performance was as well. But Ethan's performance was just absolutely brilliant. It was his most mature in an Arsenal shirt. And a big part of that was because he was moving the ball forward quickly. Ethan played on the right wing last year, and he would have known as a right winger that whenever you want the ball, you want it early. You want to be isolated against your man. The later you get that ball, the more settled the defense is, and often you'll have 2 or 3 men around you. If you got that early, you can be 1v1 and you can really take your man on. But on this occasion, it's Merino who does the same thing. He gets it out, gets a touch, takes it out into Eze, who moves up the park quickly, gets it, literally pushes the ball past his man, sees Yokarez, so he doesn't go around him to win the ball back. Yokarez picks him up. He gets the ball, starts moving across the pitch, and you can see here, right as Yokarez has the ball, you can see Eze gets it, and he is running into that real danger area. He's given Yokarez the option to play that pass as he's attacking the box on this occasion. But Yokarez doesn't want it. He keeps running. He looks out, sees Madueke, gets that ball straight across goal. And what I loved here Yokarez doesn't stop. He keeps running. And look at Madueke. I've talked about the shoulders back, head up, squaring up your man, that real face-off, that 1v1 battle, and Madueke has it here. He has Yokarez coming around the outside. But if Yokarez doesn't go, Madueke's more than comfortable at beating his man 1v1 here, getting past him and getting that shot off on his left or his right, or getting across him. But again, you can see Ethan Nwaneri in the box. You can see Eze in the box. This is 3 Arsenal players in the box and 1 attacking it. This is the same thing I've highlighted time and time again. And this is why I say this is a tactical change brought about by personnel. The personnel we have, the profiles we have here are runners. They want to attack. They want to really kill teams, and they don't want to play highly controlled football. That can be done in the first 2/3 of the pitch. And there's games where that's going to be right. But in games like this, you want to go and kill a team. And in this instance, Yokarez continues the run. Madueke holds the ball until the absolute right second, releases it to the point that Yokarez is able to hit that ball first time. In my opinion, he probably needed to just take 10% of the power off and try to get it more accurately towards goal. But this is a fraction from going in, and it hits the post so hard that it goes out for a throw in. But it showed his capacity to really go and kill teams and get into the box. And yes, on Saturday, Yokarez looked his fittest that he's been, and it's the most complete performance that I've seen from him in an Arsenal shirt. On one occasion in the first half, he came deep, got the ball, played it straight out first time to Eze on the left wing with a left-footed pass, and then he kept going. And that was a big theme yesterday. When players played that pass, they kept moving. They didn't stand and wait for the next pass and wait for the next pass. That's something that we've been very poor at over the last year, is we've waited for the next pass too often. We've held back and we've been slow and laboured in our build-up. Not on Saturday, not against Forest. And again, I'll reiterate, this was a very good Forest team who come out and played a mid-block against us. That's a system we've struggled against. But because of the new profiles in the squad, we had 3 runners up front that could literally carry the ball through the middle of the Forest team. We had Zubimendi, who just wants to move it fast. And Zubimendi had 45 touches. That's not an insane amount of touches for a midfielder. But everything he did had purpose. And his 2 goals, as I said, stole the show. But it was his build-up, his ability to just move that ball quickly with purpose and intent that really killed Forest. And alongside him, Merino and Nwaneri, they were moving the ball quickly. Timber was moving the ball forward. Calafiori was moving the ball forward, as he always does. And Gabriel and Mosquera at the back were excellent in their ball progression. In truth, this was an all-round phenomenal team performance against a very good side. But a big part of it was the tactical changes. And I keep saying it, tactics are overstated. Players win games. Systems are what give you your long-term identity. But on this occasion, the reason we were able to play so well and create so many problems for Forest was because we had movement. We had players that were willing to gamble and take risks, and we had quality. That's the big thing, again, that's overlooked a lot, is quality. Whenever you talk about Liverpool, you talk about Mo Salah. When you talk about Arsenal, you talk about Bukayo Saka. City, you talk about Haaland. Players win games. We don't talk about these teams' tactics. We talk about their best players. But whenever things go wrong, it's the coach's fault. I think it's important to remember that talent wins games 9 times out of 10. And on Saturday for Arsenal, we saw that talent really coming to light. And this is something that we're going to see a lot more of. I mentioned we had 5 new signings in the team. That's a huge shake-up. And that's a lot of players with a lack of familiarity around each other. So yes, Forest had a new manager, but they played the same system that they played under Ange. They were pragmatic. And the only time that they really started to change things was whenever they pushed at Morgan Gibbs-White slightly further forward. And to be honest, it took him out of the game. Arsenal just nullified them. And I have shown you a number of chances here that we created by playing fast, by moving the ball through the thirds very quickly. And we could have scored a lot more. A lot of these could have resulted in a goal. We won 3-0, but we could have won 5 or 6 with more clinical finishing. But tell me what you think. If you've enjoyed the show, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and keep coming back. But let's have a conversation. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think that Mikel Arteta is changing his tactics? Or do you think that we have more work to do? I'm always intrigued to hear from people. But thank you for watching and have a great day.
You're now listening to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast.